Welcome to the team, Mama.
Thank you.
Oh, you don't get it. Guess who's gonna be teammates in 2023 in NASCAR Winter Cup competition? Me and you.
Okay.
Kyle Busch and Austin Dillon.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you.
Oh, nice surprise.
Yeah, but hopefully that makes you feel extra better than you already are.
Right. That'll make me feel real good.
Hell yeah. Yep, you guessed it. We all knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time. It's like the media can't let NASCAR drivers make their own announcements without, kind of technically spilling the beans a week earlier. So, but yeah, time for my grandmother, who's a Kyle Busch fan, to get brand new updated gear. I mean, when we went to Daytona for the jet dryer incident back when Montoya was my driver for my 18th birthday when I was a junior in high school, and we had the Sandhurst house in Brook Park. 2 years after, my mom bought it off her and my grandfather, which are her parents. We were actually this close to getting her an M&M's, hoodie jacket. I mean, like a soft jacket, like a light jacket. That was kind of looked like a hoodie and was materialized a hoodie, but was viewed as a light jacket. Well, I'm glad, and we didn't get it anyway because it was too fucking expensive. And let me tell you, I'm so glad we didn't buy that shit because of the fact that, now the man is changing teams after a 14, 15 plus year relationship with Joe Gibbs Racing. Some people on Twitter are saying it's probably the biggest news in Winston Cup competition since Junior left DI, his family owned team, in 07 to go to Hendrick in 08, but anyway, I've got to go down. So first off, before I might talk about my thoughts on it, if you well, obviously you saw my Ricky Martin La Diosa del Carnaval, aka Spanish Ice cover with the music instructor Carrie Rutushins. The previous video, go look at it. Also, before I was caught in between words. I wasn't sure if I wanted to mention that or mention this first, what I might as well mention it now since I mentioned the other thing first. I looked I looked up online obviously I know all the channels on Spectrum here in Cleveland by heart, but I wasn't sure if we had Freeform because I really didn't pay close enough attention to that channel. Guess what? We do channel 45 for Kyle Petty. So even though it's a little scary, I mean, if it's not too scary, I've always had a rule with watching scary stuff on TV that has my favorite people from my favorite shows in it. As long as it's not too, if it's scary, but that, not too scary, then yes, I will watch it. But I would watch Are You Afraid of the Dark reboot with Telsey Wynn from Drama Club and Chance Hurstfield from A Million Little Things, but it's way too scary for my liking, even for Nickelodeon, so no way in hell I'm gonna watch that shit. But don't worry, with Mario Molino, Promised Land, Grace Kaufman, Livin' La Vida Lab Rats, and Lex Lumpkin, All That and Unfiltered, starring in it. Oh my god, what the fuck is this show called? Good lord. Okay, don't worry. With those three at the helm, we'll be watching The Watchful Eye on Freeform whenever that premieres. I mean, yeah, it's a show that I almost passed up. Even from the beginning, I wanted to watch it just to support those three fellas. But I was scared I didn't have the channel, which is why I didn't comment on Mariel and Grace's, even Lex's initial Instagram post months ago when it was first announced, because I was afraid I didn't have that channel. But then when I saw we did have it, channel 45 here in the Northeast Ohio area, I'm like, oh hell yeah! I know it's gonna be a little scary, but not like Are You Afraid of the Dark levels of scary. So I will be watching it just to continue my support for all three of those. So as long as they supported Grace from her Lab Rats days as Carrie Perry in 2015 and 16, 2015 on The Real Show, even though she initially was there in 2013, but I was stuck in the Victorious universe on Nickelodeon before I came here and was living La Vida Lab Rats with Kelly Berglund, Chris Peterson, Brian Moore, Paris Burrells, and all those people. And, Grace Kaufman came, and if you remember my fanfics, I used to carry her on my back around the neighborhood and at the workshop pre-pandemic. I made, Grace's character on the show, Carrie, who was, not all that nice on the. She wasn't bionic, if y'all remember, but she also wasn't very nice either. But because of the fact that I loved the actress in real life so much, she wished me happy birthday on Facebook, when I was introducing myself for the first time. And that's why when I did my birthday episode, Mark's Bionic Birthday, when, if y'all remember that fanfic where, all the main characters of the original Lab Rats in between the end of the original and the beginning of Elite Force sung me happy Wooden 22nd birthday to the Ricky Martin song Freak of Nature, aka Moss. So that's where I decided I'm going to put Carrie in the episodes, but I'm actually going to make her a good character because I love Grace Kaufman. And I did the same thing with Lexi, when Marisa Cuevas from Bionic Rebellion, she was way eviler than Carrie, but I figured if I love their actresses in real life, if I'm going to put them in the fanfics, why don't we make them good characters? Because I always say, considering I decided to make those Lexi and Carrie like to be Spurs fans, and I always say, and even all the counselors I had in the past at Center for Effective Living at the time said, if they're gonna like the Spurs, you might as well make them good. And that's what we did with Lexi and Carrie. So I look forward to continuing my Grace Kaufman support over on the Watchful Eye and Freeform. I always said after Man with the Plan was canceled, wherever Grace Kaufman goes next, I'm going to continue to support her. I said the same thing about JT Neal after Bless This Mess was canceled. And look at that. We got pivoting, but unfortunately that only lasted one season after a nail-biting choice whether or not for Fox to bring it back. But could the trend pattern continue where, we said after Man with the Plan got canceled, wherever Grace Kaufman goes next, from here on out, I will support her. That's what we're going to do. Now that we finally get to fulfill that commitment by supporting her on the Watchful Eye and Freeform. And will the trend pattern continue now that JT Neal doesn't have a show locked up or lined up for now, to the point where maybe 2 years later, maybe come 2024, JT Neal has a new show locked up and we'll support him there. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm excited to add, Free Fall to my, net variety of favorite shows from various networks. So we're going to have them and the usual Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, ABC, CBS, and Fox, the usual suspects. And for part-time purposes, NBC, because they were smart enough to pick up, Magnum PI, which sadly CBS left in the dust, and looked like all the people at that show is going to be out of a job, and we were no longer going to watch it part-time to see. It's not a full-time cup of tea, but we've seen the likes of Nikki Hahn, we've seen the likes of Isabella Cuda, we've seen the likes of Graham Shields. They'll have their little taste of some Magnum PI action to support them from Bunk'd, American Housewife, and Live and La Vida Lab Rats. So I wonder who the next person is going to be. Trying to think, was there another full-time character? Oh yeah, I was Isabella Cuda. That was when the one guy got trapped at the dog vet, at the animal vet, and they were on lockdown, in which the killer's trying to kill the people, the poor innocent bystanders on lockdown, and the vet, and so yeah, that was when Isabella Cuda's character got sick. So I think that was the episode. Yeah, but anyway, I'm glad NBC picked it up. If there's any more actors from our favorite shows from the past that guest starred it for a one-off, I will continue it like CBS never ditched it. But I'm glad NBC saw some potential in that show and did not, have that talent go to waste. So therefore, kudos to NBC. Okay, now let's discuss this Kyle Busch to Richard Childress stuff. I know there's a lot of Kyle Busch fans that, some that I know that from the internet that love Kyle Busch but don't like Austin Dillon. Well, unfortunately, that's exactly what I had to do when I was as a John Hunter Nemechek fan back in my days as a number one Kyle Larson hater, where they were teammates, for the Ganassi program in general, where Larson drove for Ganassi and Winston Cup and Nemechek drove for them in the Busch series. But even though they were teammates, I still didn't like Larson, which coming out I do now, but it's fine that for those Kyle Busch fans that still don't They're not crazy about Austin, let alone don't like him. But like it or not, whether you like Austin or not, they're teammates. And with he's teammates with your favorite driver now, and y'all can't do shit about it. So don't be all of a sudden hopping on the Austin Dillon bandwagon now just because your driver KFB is teammates with them. That's not what a true fan does. I mean, hell, even when I was Larson's number one hater, I didn't do that with him, even though some people thought I would. Not that it matters anymore because we've changed and grown as a NASCAR fan and actually like Larson now, so it's all good. So, on the other hand, Kyle Busch, on the other hand, outside of, that tussle with Montoya at the 2008 New England 300 in the Gen 5 Car Tomorrow era, outside of that, I've never had any major problem with him in any capacity, so therefore he's never really bothered me at all whatsoever. None. I mean, he hasn't done anything that let's rub me the wrong way like Harvick has, or Denny used to, until Denny came off better than I initially thought when I met him at MIS earlier this year, and we finally met Jordan Fish after being years of being friends on social media. So I'm excited to have Kyle Busch as a teammate. Maybe this will help Austin get better and start winning more races. And that way, if he'll give him a shot, start winning races on speed straight up, so that lucky win excuse from the haters can go out the fucking window. So, therefore, it's going to be exciting. This team's going to kick ass as long as, RC is able to find Reddick a charter for like an open car. Real question is, what number is the RCR going to use? I mean, are they going to use the 33, bring the 33 back out that they used with Austin Hill at MIS earlier this year? Or when Austin was running part-time in Winston Cup before he moved up full-time in 2014. Just keep in mind, Austin Dillon ran the 33 in 2012 and 2013. 2 years of diecast from his part-time Winston Cup days that I'm actually looking to get at in my collection. And of course, Ty drove the 33, but if they don't use the 33, I wonder if they'll bring the Harvick's iconic 29 back out. But to keep in mind, even though it's the same number Harvick used, it's under a different chassis. So what used to be the 3 became the 20, and the 3, and then later the 29 is the 3 again, meaning this new 2019 would be a whole different, like an open car based on this shitty ass charter system we got now, which took away 43 car fields from us. But so therefore, I hope RC is able to find a charter for Reddick and see if he uses the 33 or the 29, considering they can't use 31 like they used to with Robbie Gordon and, Mike Skinner, because 31 is taken by colleague for Justin Haley, who, like Carl Edwards in 2005, Brad Keselowski in 2010, was ineligible for Rookie of the Year because they ran too many races in their career and even Trevor Bayne in 2011, Mr. One-Hit Wonder. So, won the 2011 Daytona 500 because Reagan got penalized for a restart violation of the penultimate restart. Never did do shit after that. That's the definition of a one-hit wonder, just like Derek Cope. I mean, at least Derek Cope had, got another win. Sorry, I had something in my mouth, and But anyway, at least Derek Cope in 1990, you can make an excuse for him for, the one-hit wonder stuff, because at least he got another win, straight up on speed in 1990 at Dover after his Mickey Mouse 500 win at Daytona, just because Earnhardt Sr. lost a tire, which is why, I've never liked Derek Cope in that capacity. I mean, especially considering at the 2017 Monte Carlo 400 when, Martin Truex, MTJ had the race won, and then Cope did, they threw a call. Not that this was Cope's fault, but still, he was old. He was like even for 2017 standards, Cope was an old fart that had no business being behind the wheel as old as he was back then. Considering, he should have, been retired for a long time by then. Barely touching the wall, riding the outside, throw turns 3 and 4, yet NASCAR threw a caution. They 2022 Winston All-Star Race Texas did. before the 2022 Winston All-Star Race that Texas had a chance to happen, and that's what lost Truex the race. But except the only difference there is they were lucky Ryan Blaney was able to win that because, taking his window net down there, thinking the race was over, and as Chris said, it's an all-star race, an exhibition special, non-points paying race, so we have special rules where we're going to be like ARCA. The race will not end until we get, a green flag last lap. And yet, I get that's the rule. I love special rules and exhibition races like that, but it's like NASCAR didn't give a shit about the safety where he put his window net down thinking the race is over, and they said you better stay out there with your window net up. With the way your window net is, it's either you do that or you can come down pit road, but we're gonna make you go all the way to the back if we come to fix let you come down pit or put your window net up. But instead of doing what would have been the right thing is letting him put his window net up, coming down pit road, and then giving him a spot back. Translation is like they didn't give a shit about the safety, which you go look, I could save that conversation for other people or for another day for myself. Or, if you want to look at Fly Guy only, Tyrone Bigum's Texas Rant video, go check it out, like Kevin LePage, link is in the description. So, shout out to him, considering that's how I found that guy. But, that's a conversation we're going to save for another day. But, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, Earnhardt lost a tire, but then all of a sudden they say Cope is the legend because of that. I mean, he won at Dover later that year to back up that fight, that fluke win. So he can just basically call Derek Cope a two-hit wonder. And it was basically the 2021 Daytona 500. It was basically 20 years after Dale passed. Cope was involved in, this was Cope's last Winston Cup race, the last NASCAR race in general. It was 20 years after Dale passed in that same race. There was on lap 3, Harvick, who replaced Dale, who came in the Winston Cup Series a year early due to Dale's, fatality. Harvick was leading, and it was basically Cope crashed and turned in the part of turns 3 and 4 where Earnhardt crashed in 01. So therefore, that was Dale throwing a bone, a negative bone at Cope for that could harm him for all the wrong reasons, Well, not like bodily harm him, but harm him on the track, harm him on the track to the point where it was all set up where he crashed in turns 3 and 4 where Dale crashed in 01, 20 years since the death of Dale. Harvick, Dale's replacement leading, that was his replacement, and on lap 3. So basically, that's a translation saying that was Dale Sr.'s payback from 1990 all the way from heaven. And it was the day before my birthday, too, considering that, 1990 Mickey Mouse 500 at Daytona happened on my birthday when I was only -4 years old in the red, considering I did not exist until 1994 when Dale won his last Winston Cup championship. It was, and Dale won 6 of his 7 Winston Cup championships. Tiffany Daniels, just messaged me, thanking me for paying tribute to David. But we're gonna save that conversation for, keep saving all the conversations for down the road in the future as life goes on. But my translation is that was Dale Sr.'s payback from 1990, and. Yeah, I didn't exist till okay, I remember what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought because I get distracted by push notifications usually when I'm on my phone. But, Dale won 6 of his 7 championships with RCR, with the first coming with a different team, then a second, kind of pulled a Tim Duncan before Tim Duncan did it, and Dale Sr. pulled a Dale Sr. after Dale Sr. did it. Earnhardt won Rookie of the Year in 79 and won his first Cup championship with that. Was the only one with that. That was not with Childress in his second year. Kind of like if Duncan won Rookie of the Year in 98, and then the next year won his first championship and Finals MVP. So it was like Duncan and Earnhardt were like destined for greatness, throughout their careers, even if Dale didn't get to finish it properly. But man, this is really insane, considering, Dale won 6 of his 7 championships with RCR. So that explains why, Austin Dillon told RCR to pick up Kyle Busch, considering, RC said it was basically it was the translation of what RC said, that Kyle Busch was going to be modern Dale Earnhardt. But just because, the 8 car was black in the announcement photo shoot doesn't mean, the sponsors haven't been announced. Therefore, there will be sponsors, announced sooner than later. Well, I'm hoping for the best for Tyler Reddick, and we get to see the 33 get run if they find a charter and sponsors for him, or they see him bring back the 29. But as long as, they do that, find a charter for Reddick and find sponsors for Kyle Busch and Reddick, and Kyle Busch is able to help Austin Dillon get better with the fast cars and whatnot. I mean, give him talking tos and whatnot. This RCR team's gonna kick ass, and hopefully get back to the championship caliber level that they used to be when Dale Sr. was there, until his tragic passing in 01 in the season opening Daytona 500. So, as an RCR fan, lifelong Childress fan, I'm excited. As a lifelong Petty fan, I'm excited to see Noah Gragson, continue on, the legacy of the King Richard Petty. Now, what happens to Ty Dillon now matter? I was kind of hoping that, if, I didn't know before I was that Kyle Busch to RCR stuff started, after Gragson was announced as the Petties to replace Ty, I was hoping, Ty would, go to Richard Childress, thing that was his only shot, to actually be able to start winning races and get his first cup win out of many, hopefully, after 5 years of trying. But what happens to Ty? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. I'm hoping, maybe if he doesn't find a cup ride, considering, Richard Childress is already taken, for next year with 3 cars, he might have to just do what he did in 2021, go back to Xfinity, but hopefully maybe race for RCR and Xfinity, but, but Austin Hill's moving up, so maybe Ty can go drive for RCR and Xfinity in the 21 car, since Austin Hill, there's so much. Okay, I have to take a pause here. I gotta take a pause here. So Austin Hill is probably not gonna move up till 2024 when Reddick goes to 2311. So does Ty go back to Xfinity for a year, full time with a different team, and then when Reddick goes to 2311, 2024. And then Austin Hill moves into the 8, and then that 3rd car Reddick's driving in 2023, does Ty Dillon take it? No. Well, so Reddick goes to 2311 in 2024. Kyle Busch is in the 8, Austin Dillon in the 3. Does that mean, they move up Austin Hill to the 33 or 29, or do that guy to go to Ty Dillon? So where it's where Kyle Busch helps both Austin and Ty get better. I don't fucking know what the hell's gonna happen throughout the rest of the silly season when it comes to Ty Dillon and what he's gonna do in 2023 and 2024. We'll just have to wait and fucking see how it plays out. But anyway, I'm gonna go read all these messages that David's castmates from Lele are sending me in return of me honoring him since he left this world last Wednesday. So have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Life will give you a lot of lows, but when you hit a high, enjoy it. It ain't for the weak. Goddamn, pace yourself, bring your ass, be you. You have to try harder to do less. You can't abort a dream. Sometimes the worst things in life lead to the best things. Always bet on the side of love. You gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself. Sometimes you just gotta be present. You never fail until you stop trying. It never pays to worry too much about things. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. It's never too late to turn the day around. Another day on time, another day to shine. Take care, everyone. Good night, and keep in mind, we got Poker Game Night Episode 5 this Saturday night, and then this Sunday, we're most likely to be outside all day since it's going to be in the mid-80s, so therefore, after we park the bus that night, then maybe if there's enough time, we'll catch the Bill Elliott installment of Bunk'd Season 6, since we left off on the Dale Jr. installment, when we went on break for the tail end, the last part of Fun in the Sun Season 2. So, see you later, everyone.